This year, Mr. Kulisewicz has taught us many fascinating things that may contradict what we thought we knew. Here are 10 lies you were taught before this year and the truths behind them.
Number 10. Lewis and Clark forged their way across America. Yes, this is true, but what picture do we always see? The two men, alone, traveling across the country. There were actually 33 people on this expedition, including one slave and one Native American woman, Sacagawea. A name we all know, but a story that seems to slip the minds of most Americans. She had a baby and still trekked across the mountains with the men. This story deserves looking into.
Number 9. There were 13 original colonies. This is a fact we have all come to recite, but actually, Delaware was not originally its own colony. Delaware started out as part of Pennsylvania and became its own colony in 1776, after the 12 original colonies rebelled against England in 1775.
Number 8. People were burned during the Salem witch trials. Actually, no. No one was burned to death during the Salem witch trials. 20 people were hung, 1 killed with heavy stones, and 5 more imprisoned, but no deaths due to burning alive. Also, there were no actual witches in Salem, but that should go without saying.
Number 7. Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity. In truth, Benjamin Franklin did not truly discover electricity. Electricity had already been known about before Benjamin Franklin. What he did do was develop experiments to better our knowledge on electricity, including flying a kite in a thunderstorm. But the kite didn't get hit by lightning. It merely felt electricity in the air. If the kite was hit by lightning, Franklin most likely would have died.
Number 6. Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he did not discover America. He discovered a small island near San Salvador or Cuba, and for a while he believed he was in India. His returns were always to the Central America and never to the U.S. Others would discover the place we now call home, and Columbus would die with hardly any recognition. The country of what would become America was also populated at the time, so Columbus was not the first to go there.
Number 5. Paul Revere yelled, "The British are coming!" Yes, Paul Revere warned the colonists of the oncoming redcoats, but he didn't ride alone. William Dawes rode a different route and met up with Revere. They did the same thing, but why don't we remember William? Because of a poem written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The poem said that Revere yelled, "The British are coming," but in truth, both Revere and Dawes yelled, "The regulars are coming."
Number 4. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. I don't think so. So, Abraham Lincoln had no powers over the slaves in the South, so how could he have freed them when the country was still divided? Also, some of the slaves in Texas didn't find out they were free until a year and a half after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. And technically, the slaves weren't really free until the 13th Amendment was added to the Constitution, which wasn't issued until 3 years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Number 3. America became independent on July 4th. It's true that the Second Continental Congress proclaimed sovereignty on this date, but we weren't really free from England until the Treaty of Paris was signed on September 3rd, 1783. I am willing to bet that most people think this is true, but it turns out almost no one knows the true facts.
Number 2. The Declaration of Independence was signed on July 4th. No, actually not. The Declaration of Independence was approved by Congress on the 4th of July, but it was not actually signed until August 2nd.
Number 1. Thanksgiving. Everything about Thanksgiving that you think you learned in your childhood was a big fat lie. In truth, the Pilgrims and Native Americans didn't get along. Like, at all. True, the Pilgrims sat down to have a big meal, but the Native Americans weren't invited. Thanksgiving wasn't even deemed a holiday until long after the Pilgrims. And worst of all, there was no turkey at the first Thanksgiving.
I hope that some of the lies your childhood consisted of are cleared up now. I also hope we didn't destroy your childhood. Thanks for listening.